Oh, hey, you made it! Awesome. You want a drink? They're on me. Here, let me pour you a drink. So, you finally made it. Was it hard to find the place? Yeah, I'm sorry if the instructions were a bit unclear, but, well, I'm not very good at reading Elvish, so you take what you can get. I didn't roll high enough, and I didn't put the right stats in the right places, so to say. Here, have a drink. You sure? 'Cause I'm gonna drink it if you're not. You sure, man? It's on me. Okay. One sec. That's good. Question. This might seem kind of odd. Have we met before? You seem very familiar. Like, maybe we were in like the same cave on a different mission or something, or... What do you mean you don't know what I'm talking about? Oh, I get it now. Okay, I know why you're here. You're here to learn about the game. Right, well, good news and bad news. Good news is you come to the right place, the internet. Bad news, I am not a master of this game. In fact, I'm pretty bad at it. So, instead of making a, hey, let's learn to play Dungeons & Dragons together sort of video, I got a better idea. How about before you even play the game, I'm gonna show you everything you need, everything you might want. I'll give you advice, tips, and pointers for how to get started. Then once you're done, just go up there and look up how to play Dungeons & Dragons. There are a ton of awesome videos out there that I've been using myself. But this isn't a tutorial video. Much rather, this is going to be me explaining to you what you're going to need to play the greatest D&D game ever. Part 1. What you need. Okay, so before you can jump into the game and start being an unaligned jerk who kills everyone indiscriminately, but still refuses to be quote-unquote evil, you need 4 things, and you absolutely need these. You can borrow them from a friend, you can buy them, you can buy a PDF of them, but you need these in order to play. Yes, you can look things up online for advice or pointers or even some stats, especially with the 3rd book I'll mention here, but believe me, it's a lot faster and a lot easier, and just, you have to have them to play pretty much. The most important book, hands down, the one which you absolutely need, is the Player's Handbook. This thing is the key to the entire game. Why? Well, the Player's Handbook, despite what you might think, it pretty much tells you how to do everything. You'd think that would be the Dungeon Master Guide, but no, actually quite the opposite. The Player's Guide essentially teaches you everything about the classes, the races, the world, how to cast spells, craft items, all sorts of things that you just need in order to even make your character. You want to be a warlock? This book tells you how. You need this in order to even begin to play the game. So, first of all, you got your Player's Handbook. Most important book. I should also mention, this costs a lot of money. These books are not cheap unless you get them off a friend or something, but trust me, it's worth it. The second most important book is the Dungeon Master Guide. If you're going to be the Dungeon Master, which you need in order to play a game, unless you're going to be using a book which I'll explain later, you need this one. Why? Well, chapters in here explain treasure, traps, world building, how underwater physics work, twists, how to create an adventure, how to use other adventures, what happens when you die, how to create monsters, how to do all sorts of stuff between adventures, all sorts of magical and rare items which you can have lying in the game for your players to find. This book is important if you're going to try and lead a game. This book is important if you want to play the game. Next, we come to what I think most people would not consider the most important, but I think is a sorely underrated book, especially amongst all of them, that I don't think gets enough appreciation. And personally, it's my favorite. The Monster Manual. This book comes in handy if you want to fight anything, like, say, a dragon in this game called Dungeons & Dragons. In fact, that dragon actually looks a lot like Puff the Magic Dragon. pretty much what you need the monster manual for is it goes hand in hand with these other two books. Because when you're playing the Dungeon Master, it'll say, at this time when you're making a quest, you may want to have a monster show up. Boom! Monster manual. It shows you how. So that's what you need for books. There are two other things you absolutely need in order to be able to play. Now, here's the thing. The next things you need are very cheap if you know where to find them. First of all, you need character sheets. This is how you create your character, how you track your gold, your progress, your level, and what makes you, you. You need the character sheet, which has your stats, and then sort of personality on the back. And if you're going to be like, I'm a sorcerer, you need the spellcasting sheet. What else do you need? Well, you need a lot, and I do mean a lot, of dice. Trust me, you'd think that you just need like the classic D20, a D6, like a 6-sided die, and maybe a D4, but nope, you need all these. Okay, believe me, the more dice you have, the better. I'd like to apologize to anybody with tinnitus because I'm pretty sure that just really hurt your ears. I'm sorry. Actually, I'm not. I'm going to do it again in a minute. But yeah, the reason why you want multiple dice, especially multiples of the same, is when you're creating a character or when you're creating a character with friends. Having multiple dice, it just makes everything go so much faster. Alright. You can all be rolling. Oh wow, that's where that D20 went, all the way over there. You can all be rolling at the same time to help get your stats down faster, because believe me, making a character is a lot of fun, but it takes a long time. So yeah, that's pretty much everything you absolutely need. Now, let's move on to part 2. Part 2, what you might want. Now I hear you going, hold on Ragnar, Dragonborn Sorcerer, Guardian of Snacks. I'm terrible at creating things. The books are helpful because they give me what I need to make my character. But I can't make a campaign to save my life. What should I do? Well, you're in luck. This is not required, but believe me, it is helpful if you're a first-time player. There are pre-made campaign books. Again, they do cost a fair bit of money, but they're worth it because they come with new characters, even new classes, new monsters, new locations, and new items. And what do? Well, they literally give you a whole bunch of missions, whole storylines with their own alternate endings depending on if you defeat a monster or not. They give you, here's how people in this town will react to this certain class. They give you, here's a certain type of monster you may want to try and fight. Here's all new trials and temples you can go to and attempt to fight and win with. And some of them are like, this is a great campaign, this book is meant for people from levels 8 to 20. And some of them, like this one, or at least this chapter, it's very much like, this book is meant for people level 1 to 15. If you have no idea how to play, this book's for you. Now, I can recommend 2. In fact, the one I wanted was sold out, so I bought this one instead. I can either heavily recommend Prince of the Apocalypse, because it is very, very helpful, or Hoard of the Dragon Queen, which actually is a much cheaper one, and it's a 2-parter with Rise of Tiamat, which Hoard of the Dragon Queen goes from levels 1 to 7, Rise of Tiamat goes from 8 to 15. So technically, yeah, you get 2 books for the price of a regular sized one, because they are a bit smaller, but you get essentially 2 full campaigns for characters at your level. So yes, you may want this. You might also be thinking, well, that sounds cool, but isn't there like a cheaper way I could possibly try out the game before I find out if I even want to invest all this money in it? Yes, there is. The starter set. This is not the one they sell anymore. I tried to play D&D back during the 4th edition, like 8 years ago. I was really confused by it because I was very young, so I didn't really go too far with it. But they do sell a new version, here's a picture of it. And it's the exact same as this one, just things look a little different. If you are really uncertain if you're ready to play the game, or you just aren't sure how to, then yeah, I'd pick up the starter set, to be honest. It comes with dice, character tokens, spell cards, character sheets, a DM book, a player book, and a map. Granted, it is not nearly as immersive as the other books, and I still would recommend just picking up the other books and running with them. But this does give you even a small campaign to test things out with, and if you're really paranoid about trying it out, then at least give this a shot. It's about $25. Yeah, I could recommend it. You know what else you might need? If you're the Dungeon Master and you don't want people to know what's coming up ahead or what you got planned, well, I can recommend to you the Dungeon Master screen. Yeah, you might think, isn't that just a glorified piece of cardboard? And well, that's what I thought at first when I first saw it. But not only that, it's a beautiful glorified piece of cardboard, but on the inside, in fact, I'll bring the camera, there'll be a shot later on, of all these important stats, such as essentially attacking, jumping, different forms of it being attacked, such as stunned, scared, and all that. And all of it folds up to this very small thing that you can put in front of your book, and that way no one can see what's going on. And they do make special ones, there actually is, this is just called the Dungeon Master Screen Reincarnated. It's the only one I have. There is a Princess of the Apocalypse one, there's a Rise of Tiamat one, there's a Storm King's Thunder one, where they actually have stats and character and notes especially tailored to the specific campaign book you're using. So that's pretty cool, actually. There also are miniatures. I own none of them because I'm not really interested in them, to be honest. And I think they might actually be for their own game. But I know there used to be miniatures made for certain monsters and all that. Here's a picture of some of them. In fact, you might see in Stranger Things or something like that. What these guys would do is they'd make it easier for you to imagine or see where the monster is standing compared to you. Because some games you'll actually have a map and tokens of your characters and the monsters, because you can only move so much before you have to take a rest. And it's all explained in the rules, don't worry. I know it sounds like a lot, but it's not. Just trust me on it. Anyhow, let's move on to the third and final part. Part 3. If you really feel like it. And now, at the very end, there are a few things left to mention. Just little bits and pieces, honestly, that I feel like this is the most appropriate place to put them. You can buy, like I mentioned, you can buy maps. Fully constructed maps. You can buy what are called dungeon tiles, which essentially is a way for you to set up traps or things like that, so while you're playing you can help people visualize it more than anything. Personally, I prefer to do everything in my mind like how I kind of feel the game was meant to be played, so you can randomly roll and spring a trap on your party at any time if you're the dungeon master. And it does kind of add an air of paranoia to the players because they never know for sure what's coming. Now, I'm not saying don't buy them. In fact, if you want them, go ahead. I'm pretty sure you'll have fun with them. Also, what I can recommend you get is some sort of bag. See, I picked up this DedSec bag for 2 reasons. 1, I love Watch Dogs. A lot. Happy 4-year anniversary, I know I'm a bit late on that. And 2, well, it is perfect for carrying all my Dungeons & Dragons stuff. On the inside I can carry all the books, carry some spare character sheets. For the character sheets I actually use, there's the back there. Then around on the front, I got the space for the Dungeon Master screen, some extra rules I've written down, and a little dice pouch at the very front. Oh, there was one more D4. That's where he went. So, trust me, it'll just make carrying it around easier. And these, you don't need to buy an officially licensed Dungeons & Dragons bag. You can if you want, and there are some pretty cool ones out there people have made you can buy easily online, but some sort of messenger bag or laptop bag, especially if you're going to a party or going to a meetup for Dungeons & Dragons, and you're carrying these 4 books which are kind of slippery and surprisingly heavy when they're all put on top of each other. Plus you're also carrying your dice, some snacks, the Dungeon Master screen, and the character sheets. So trust me, having some sort of bag just makes it a lot easier at the end of the day. Okay, so now that we're at the end of our video here, you're probably wondering, what do you do now? Well, that's simple. First of all, you like and subscribe. Second, let me run through everything one last time real quick. What you need is the Dungeon Master Guide, the Player's Handbook, that's the most important, and the Monster Manual, and dice, as well as character sheets. What is optional for you to have is the Dungeon Master screen, a pre-made campaign book, additional dice, but that is heavily recommended, and miniatures. And if you absolutely want them, well, you can get the starter set to try and test it out, or get dungeon tiles or dungeon maps to try and help craft out your total adventure. So once you got everything and you got your characters set up and everything's good to go, what do you do now? Simple. Grab some drinks, grab some friends, and go on an adventure. But let me leave you with this word of sage advice. Don't you know you never split the party? Clerics in the back, they keep their fighters hale and hearty, the wizard in the middle where he can shed his light, and you never let that thief out of sight. So, thanks for all for watching this video. I love playing Dungeons & Dragons whenever I get the chance. Granted, it can be kind of hard because there isn't many places that do like a D&D night around here, so I've been trying to start one. And I've been trying to get my friends into it. I'll keep you updated on how that goes. But until next time, Dino Dudes, this has been Ragnar saying, I hope you all have a fond adventure with with many riches in your future and many snacks to keep your hunger at bay. Fare thee well.